Second type of sugar is disaccharide or double sugar. This is a second type of sugar, disaccharide or double sugar. Its journal formula is C12H22O11. The journal formula of first sugar, which is also known as the monosaccharide or simple or single sugar, is C6H12O6, and the journal formula for the double sugar is C12H22O11. So it's its journal formula. Okay, remember that. 1 mark question can be asked about them. Next is why we require digestion. The previous one, monosaccharide or simple sugar, requires no special enzymes or a part of our body for digesting it because it is readily absorbed by our body. But the second type sugar, whose formula is C12H22O11, require digestion to get absorbed into the body. The previous sugar, monosaccharide, doesn't need to be digested by our body, but the second sugar, that is disaccharide or double sugar, require to be digested by our body. There are 3 types of double sugars. Number 1 is sucrose, number 2 is maltose, and number 3 is lactose. 3 types of double sugar we have: sucrose, maltose and lactose. Okay, now let's move on to the sucrose. Sucrose are commercial sugar. Whatever we use in our home, the white sugar or the brown sugar, is named as sucrose. It's a commercial sugar. Okay, from where we obtained it? We obtained it from sugarcane. From sugarcane we obtained sucrose, which is a commercial sugar. And another source of sugar is sugar beet. Another source to get sucrose is from sugar beet. Okay, so sucrose is a commercial sugar. We obtain it from sugarcane, and the another name for this sugar or another source of this sugar is sugar beet. Next is sucrose is a double sugar. Sucrose is a double sugar made up of 2 simple sugars. We are calling sucrose as a double sugar. Why it's a double sugar? Because it is made up of 2 simple sugars, that is glucose and fructose. Glucose and fructose we have studied in the monosaccharide, where glucose is a grape sugar and fructose is also known as fruit sugar. So by the combination of glucose and fructose we get sucrose. Okay, by combination of 2 sugars we get sucrose. Okay, next is maltose. Maltose is also a double sugar, which is a combination of 2 glucose molecules. Maltose is also a double sugar. It is also a double sugar and combination of 2 sugar molecules, which are glucose, 2 glucose molecules, whereas sucrose is a combination of glucose and fructose. Okay, clear? Let's move on to the third type of sugar, that is lactose or milk sugar. There are so many persons who says that they are lactose toxic or lactose tolerant, or they are ovo-lacto vegetarians. Lacto means milk sugar. So lactose or milk sugar, it is made up of glucose and galactose. Glucose plus glucose is which sugar? It is maltose, and glucose plus fructose is sucrose, and glucose and galactose is milk sugar or lactose. Okay, clear? So these are the monosaccharides or disaccharides. Sorry, these are the disaccharides which we did now: sucrose, maltose and lactose. Okay, let's move on to the starch. What is starch? Starch is insoluble carbohydrate. Starch is a insoluble carbohydrate. It is an insoluble carbohydrate, means it doesn't dissolve. Next is, it is in this form of plants commonly store carbohydrates. There are so many plants who store their carbohydrates in the form of starch. So many carbohydrates who store their so many plants who store their carbohydrates as their starch. Okay, as their starch. So its journal formula is, or chemical formula is, C6H10O5. What was the journal formula for monosaccharide or simple sugar? It was C6H12O6. And what was the chemical formula for disaccharide or double sugar? It was C12H22O11. And what is the journal formula for starch? It is C6H10O5. It is also known as polysaccharide. Okay, it is also known as polysaccharide. What is the chief source of starch? From where you get starch? We get starch from potatoes, grains, rice, maize, wheat and barley. These are the main sources of starch from where we get, and it is this form in which plants store their carbohydrates. As you store your money in your piggy bank or in bank account, your chocolates in your special drawer, similarly plants also store their starch, carbohydrates in the form of starch. These are insoluble carbohydrates. Its journal formula is C6H10O5. Okay, so let's move on to next. Insoluble polysaccharide carbohydrates. Insoluble polysaccharide carbohydrates. Insoluble means they are not soluble. Polysaccharide, that is C6H10O5 carbohydrates. They are cellulose and glycogen. They are made up of cellulose and glycogen, two other insoluble polysaccharides. These are two insoluble polysaccharides. Let's learn about cellulose. What is cellulose? Cellulose found in the cell walls of plants. Plants have cell walls, and in their cell walls you will find cellulose, not used by our body. They are not used by our body. Our body doesn't use cellulose. This remain undigested in our body. Whatever we eat, some part of it get digested and some part of it remains undigested. And cellulose is that part, maybe in any particular food, which doesn't digest in our body. Contributes in providing roughage for proper functioning of the gut. If you want your gut, means your digestive system, to do proper functioning, then you require cellulose, because cellulose provide roughage. Cellulose provide roughage, which is essential for the proper functioning of the gut. Next is glycogen. What is glycogen? Glycogen is a foam. It is a foam in which carbohydrates stored in animals. Okay, carbohydrates stored in plants is known as starch, and carbohydrates stored in animals is known as glycogen. And you mainly found them in their liver as well as in muscles. Those who are non-vegetarians, they are mostly eat liver or muscles of any living creature as a form of meat. Then if you are eating their liver or muscles, then you are eating glycogen, means they are stored part of carbohydrates. Okay, let's move on to roughage. What is roughage? I said now cellulose provide roughage to our body for the proper functioning of guts. Roughage cells of all plants. Roughage. What is roughage? Roughage is non-digestible cellulose. The cellulose which is non-digestible in our body is known as roughage. Roughage which is non-digestible in our body is known as roughage. Where we find out it? Cells of all plants. Cells of all plants. The plants in their cell walls have cell walls. Okay, plants have cell walls which are made up of cellulose. Plants' cell walls are made up of cellulose. And where we can find cellulose? Cellulose can be found in the fruits and the vegetables and the outer coats of seeds and grains, example choker and wheat flour. You can find cellulose or roughage in the peels of vegetables as well as fruits, or in the choker of wheat flour, Okay, if you remembered clearly, some are advised to eat the fruits and vegetables with their peels. Okay, why they are advised to eat fruits and vegetables with their peels? Because the peels have roughage part, the cellulose part, which is not going to digest in your body, but it will serve as a broom or a mopping in your body. Okay, they will create or do a type of brooming like mobbing in our body. जैसा बोलते हो झाड़ू लगाना, पोछा लगाना, घर में झाड़ू पोछा लगाने से फर्श साफ होता है, उसी तरह ये चीज़ें आपकी बॉडी में झाड़ू और पोछे का काम करती है, आपकी बॉडी में से गंद निकालती हैं. ओके, चोकर ऑफ व्हीट फ्लोर मीन्स बान, जो मतलब आटा छानने पर बुरा निकलता है, दैट वन. सो कभी भी आटे को छान के नहीं यूज़ करना चाहिए, जो चक्की का आटा होता है. एंड सेकेंडली, जो फ्रूट्स और वेजिटेबल्स हैं उनकी जो बाहर की कोट है, जो सीड्स है, वो यूज़ करने चाहिए. ओके, नॉट द सीड्स बट जो ग्रेन्स होते हैं वो वाले. ओके, जो व्हीट होता है उसकी जो अगर आउटर कोर को आप निकाल दोगे तो वो मैदा है, विच इज़ नॉट गुड फॉर आवर हेल्थ, बट व्हीट इज़ क्वाइट गुड. those who don't suffer from wheat allergy. So the fruits and vegetables, outer coats of seeds and grains, example choker of wheat flour, are particularly rich in cellulose. They are particularly rich in cellulose, which is not digested in our canal. It is not going to digest in our canal. The peels of fruits and vegetables or choker of flour are particularly rich in cellulose. They have rich in cellulose, and this is not going to digest in our canal. Okay, because we have no cellulose digesting enzyme. So here is a question: why cellulose is not digestible in our canal? The reason is that we don't have डाइजेस्टिव एंजाइम. जब हमारे पास सेलुलोज को डाइजेस्ट करने के लिए एंजाइम ही नहीं है तो सेलुलोज डाइजेस्ट कैसे होगा? सो अनडाइजेस्टेड सेलुलोज बीइंग फाइब्रस इज नेचर एंड एक्ट एज ए रफेज. सो जो अनडाइजेस्टेड सेलुलोज है, जो आपकी बॉडी में डाइजेस्ट नहीं हुआ, वो फाइब्रस होगा नेचर में और एज ए रफेज एक्ट करेगा. रफेज. एंड व्हाट इज द यूज ऑफ रफेज? क्यों कह रहे हैं कि हम रफेज एक्ट करेगा? व्हाट इज द यूज ऑफ दैट? So it's quite important. Role of roughage in our body. First of all, absorbs lot of water and retains it. Helps in keeping the fecal matter soft and prevents constipation. It absorbs a lot of water. Whatever water you drink or the composition of water in our body, it absorbs majority of the water and retains it. Retains मतलब पकड़ के रखता है. And helps in keeping the fecal matter soft and prevents constipation. Due to this, you are not suffering from constipation and it makes your fecal movement soft. Next, moves of the undigested food through the intestine becomes easier. It moves the undigested food, the food which is not going to digest in our body, through the intestine. Intestine becomes easier, so quite easier. Okay, it moves the I can say makes the process more smoother, in which the undigested food goes to the intestine. Next, stimulate the muscle contraction. It stimulates the muscle contraction, muscle को tight और loose करना in the intestinal wall, making the movement of the fecal matter easy. Fecal matter easy. It makes the fecal matter easy by stimulate the muscle contraction. Okay, muscle contraction. Next, stimulate secretion from the undigested tract, help in the removal of cholesterol. First of all, it stimulates secretion. Secretion मतलब कुछ enzyme या hormone ये secrete करता है फ्रॉम द डाइजेस्टिव ट्रैक्ट. कहाँ से वो सेक्रेशन होती है? डाइजेस्टिव ट्रैक्ट से. डाइजेस्टिव ट्रैक्ट से एक सेक्रेशन होती है जो मदद करती है कोलेस्ट्रॉल को रिमूव करने के लिए. कोलेस्ट्रॉल को रिमूव करने के लिए डाइजेस्टिव ट्रैक्ट से एक सेक्रेशन होती है जिससे स्टिमुलेट करता है रफेज. ओके, सो कोलेस्ट्रॉल क्या है? एक फैटी एक्सक्रीटरी सब्सटेंस है एंड टॉक्सिक है. जो कोलेस्ट्रॉल है, इट इज़ अ फैटी excretory substance which needs to be removed from our body, and it is toxin, and you know that if the cholesterol level in your body is quite high, what will happen? Okay, so it stimulate the secretions करता है, जिससे कोलेस्ट्रॉल क्या होता है, बॉडी से रिमूव होता है. So number one is absorb a lot of water and retain it for the fecal movement. Undigested food easily moves to the intestine, stimulate contraction of the intestinal wall to make the fecal matter easy. Next is stimulate secretion from the digestive tract, helps in the removal of cholesterol. Okay, what is cholesterol? It is a fatty excretory substance and toxins. Okay, next let's move on to the sources of roughage, from where you get roughage, because there are numerous benefits from roughage. So how will you get it? Chief sources of roughage in our food is salad, green vegetable, fruits like guava, banana, corn, half crushed wheat, which is also known as dalia. Half crushed wheat, dalia, banana, corn, salad, green vegetables, fruits like guava. Next is cabbage. Cabbage is one vegetable, provide a lot of roughage. This is one vegetable, only one vegetable, which provides you a lot of roughage. Cabbage. Yeah, it is advised to eat cabbage to meet the requirement of roughage, but you have to be familiar with the fact that you don't have to eat the cabbage, because there is a worm in the cabbage which doesn't die although you are boiling it or cutting it, and it is unhealthy for your brain. So don't eat cabbage, although it is a chief source of roughage, but it is advised not to eat cabbage because there is a worm in cabbage which is harmful for our brain.